All right. So, men's health and business, interesting combination indeed, and unique. And I feel that is really the strength in what we're doing in men in doTERRA because it's different. Um, I one of the reasons why I said yes to doTERRA is because it was different. And like I mentioned before, I worked in IT for 12 years, and I was really struggling in that industry, working long hours on technology, sedentary, and I just wasn't sleeping very well. And I was physically fit and healthy, but my emotional health wasn't something that I really had a lot of knowledge about, and what I've really grown to be passionate about in health and essential oils. I'm a qualified personal trainer and yoga teacher trainer, aroma touch trainer, and I have been sharing doTERRA for 7 years now. And what that's allowed me to do is to have time with this beautiful family that you see on the right hand side of your screen. This is my tribe. And I get to intertwine my passions for health and time with my family and sharing doTERRA. So really, really cool what we've been able to create. Why I'm so passionate about men's health is because of this man in the middle here of the screen. And this is my dad, and he is my absolute hero. He's ex-army, South African Air Services dude that he's just like Superman. So I grew up with stars in my eyes, with this man as my role model. But my world really came crashing down when he had a stroke at the age of 40. And he had a 5-way heart bypass. And this really got me thinking about, what health is and life. I was 15 years old at the time, and it really got me thinking about this path that I was going on in following the footsteps of my father.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have a look at some muting options here. One of you guys mute. Thank you. So this is really my deeper why of why I love to help people in health, because you look at some of the figures and they really are quite shocking. 1 in 2 men suffer from chronic conditions. 3 in 4 are overweight or obese. Diet have just come to learn what true good health and nutrition is all about. And not getting enough physical activity, this is so important, not just for our physical well-being, but also our mental health and well-being as well. Now, I mentioned emotional health and emotional intelligence being something that I really was not educated in and on in my upbringing. We don't learn this at school. It's not something that my parents really passed on to me. There was some anxiety and depression and things like that. So there were some conditions being naturally absorbed. But being introduced to doTERRA, this was a huge part of my catalyst to growth and awareness around emotional health, and especially in men, because we're known for bottling things up. And I think we all know that mental health, especially in men, is a concern now more than ever. Men, typically, the providers, the ones who are trying to uphold the family as much as they can, the family home, pay the bills, etc. A lot of them, they're losing their jobs, and they're under a lot of financial and mental, emotional stress and pressure. So it's not a surprise to see some of these stats here. 1 in 8 men are experiencing depression, 1 in 5 anxiety. And then we look at the suicide statistics and we wonder why we're not doing something about this. And this shouldn't be at the forefront of what we're concerned about in men's health. Double that of the national road toll. It's just shocking. So I wanted to share with you guys some of my priorities in health, and keep it really simple. So my top 5 and how I integrate the oils. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail is how I integrate the oils with the top 3, but my top 5, you can see them on the screen, because it can get really overwhelming and confusing in this day and age when everybody has the magical diet. We're getting, thrown all of these ideas and ideals of how we should eat and how we should exercise, and oh, you're not doing it that way. This is how you got to do it. And it changes every 5 minutes. But true health is really, really quite simple, and it hasn't really had to change that much over the years. So I'm going to go into the depth or a little bit more detail about the top 3, but the last 2, your surroundings and your thoughts. These are the people that you spend most of your times with, including yourself, and the thoughts that you are thinking. Are they self-sabotaging thoughts, or are they uplifting and creative, loving thoughts for yourself? Are they creating ideals, conditions for yourself to thrive? Or are they compromising your health and putting you in a less favorable situation? So really becoming aware of our surroundings and thoughts. And then the last one, diet. I'm just going to touch on this because there's so many ideals, that I practice a whole foods diet, and mostly vegan. If you're going to call it anything, it would be Velio. It's like an intermix of vegan and paleo. My wife and I, we don't eat eggs. We occasionally eat a small amount of meat, and we also love honey. But aside from that, we're also gluten-free and vegan. So it's really hard to put a label on me, but that's what I feel puts me and my body into a favorable state of health. So breath. Now, we did a breathing exercise with Adish before, and I wanted to share with you guys the Wim Hof method app. Now, this is something I've recently been doing, and I'll do it before I present. I'll do it in the morning before exercise, after, of course, having my lemon water. And this really puts me into a state of alert and peace within myself. This is a method of meditation as well as oxygenation for the body. So download the app, just do a search on your Android or your iPhone, Wim Hof method, get this app and start doing the guided breathing bubble on a daily basis, and apply the oils. Easy air to the chest is one of my favorite, inhaling it from the hands. And I also love a drop of peppermint before I go for a surf or go for a run or do activity of any sort. So some quick little facts there. If we don't breathe, we die. It's a no-brainer. So if we don't breathe, we die, then why wouldn't we be giving more attention and focus? Sometimes when we're in a state of somber moods or a state of despair, then we become aware of our breath. It's very shallow, very short. If we just open our lungs and start to breathe, we'll start feeling better. And then use the oils in combination with this to really open up our our respiratory system, which therefore, it's going to improve our cardiovascular health and so much more. So much more, just simply with bringing attention and focus and intention to our breath. That simple. Rest and stress management. Facts. We all experience stress differently. We all have different perceptions. We all see colors differently. So something that might trigger my stress, and at the moment it's probably babies crying while I'm trying to do some work or something like that. It just sets me off, right? But other people, it won't be as affected by that. But we all are affected by stress in the same way, in that stress is a stress no matter what the size. It's still it's going to have a negative impact on our health, especially if it's in a chronic form and we're in that fight or flight, sympathetic nervous system state in a long-term basis. Now, I believe, and give me a yes or I agree in the chat window here, if you feel that stress is the true global pandemic. I truly do believe that. And this became a true affirmation, not affirmation, but a confirmation for me when I started sharing doTERRA and became more aware of emotional health, that this is why we're suffering. We're doing it to ourselves. We've got the tools. It's all very, very simple. We just need to pull back, just regress, keep it simple, connect to the body, connect to nature, do things that you love, use the oils as powerful tools and catalysts to get back to what really matters in life. Now, these are some grounding and calming oils that I have been loving. So adaptive, of course. Who's loving the adaptive range? So stoked. We've got that in Australia now. And of course, the good old favorite, balance. And this is a staple that I start everybody on that I introduce to the oils. Lifelong vitality, balance on the bottoms of the feet, back of the neck, and lemon in your water to start the day. Let's not forget about copaiba, as Vanessa would so fittingly describe or pronounce copaiba. Copaiba, if you want to use Australian, or copaiba, if you want to be a true South American. Frankincense, a drop on the tongue, lifting your tongue to the roof of your mouth, direct path to the brain. The soft palate on the top of your mouth is the perfect way to influence your emotions and mood with frankincense. Some other favorites of mine, cedarwood and arbor vitae. I actually use cedarwood as a replacement for balance if I run out, or if I'm using an insect repellent, then I'm going to get the grounding benefits as well from cedarwood. And of course, arbor vitae as well. I love this for my crown chakra, but it's also fantastic in its grounding and almost at the same time uplifting benefits too. It's an interesting oil to describe the way it makes you feel. Now, water is life. We are composed of 60 to 70% water, and blood is 90% water. So water delivers oxygen around our body, and it's also essential for all our critical functions in our body. So why wouldn't we prioritize drinking more water? And while we're at it, let's chuck some citrus oils in there, rich in limonene. And these are just a couple of references here that are taken from the doTERRA science blog, helping with our digestive system, our metabolism, and protecting our body as well. Now, I do 3 to 5 drops in 500 ml plus of water every day. And this just really helps get my digestive system moving. It's liver cleansing, and it makes me feel good. So I do that absolutely every day after I do a tongue scrape. So men in doTERRA, don't feel lonely. There's a couple of facts here. I would have loved to have given you some figures, and I know there's figures out there, but it doesn't take long. And you just look at the amount of participants that are in this webinar. There are less men using doTERRA than women. That's a fact. It's improving, guys. I'm so glad. I love to give a shout out for the dudes in the room whenever I'm doing a class or presenting or just in passing at doTERRA corporate events. So good on you blokes for having the guts to do something different, to come along to a female dominated industry, but let's change this. Let's invite some more dudes in. Then another fact is that there are many men that are actually open to using essential oils and natural products, but they aren't necessarily using doTERRA. So we need to introduce more men to doTERRA, to this loving and supportive community and this amazing natural product that actually works. So when it comes to introducing men, and of course, this is just getting started, the very, very first the steps that you're taking with men. You don't need to go and sell a business opportunity in most cases, I believe. Just keeping it really simple for the guys. Don't fire hose them. Don't chase them around the house with a bottle of balance trying to splash them on the back of their neck, or string them up by their feet and put it on the bottoms of their feet. Allow them to have their aha moment. And it could be during one of those times where they need help in health, and you can just offer them the invitation and say, hey, would you like me to just do this for you? How does that sound? And allow that to naturally happen. Don't make them dig their heels in. We can be stubborn creatures. Start with the supplement range. We're really open to taking tablets. My parents are, they're still coming around. And I found it really interesting as an example. They were completely opposed to taking essential oils internally. And they said, look, you can do your essential oil thing, but we're not taking them internally. I said, that's cool. You can just use them aromatically and topically, still get the benefits. And once my mum was sick, and my dad, and I said, hey, why don't you try some On Guard soft gels? And they threw them down their mouth like without even blinking an eye, without even thinking. They were taking essential oils internally. I told them, I was like, hey, you're taking essential oils internally, but it's just a tablet, and that's a more accepted delivery method. Get your men along to a doTERRA corporate event. It's that simple. And when I say get them along, invite them, and encourage them. I think it was last year, the year before, I had the pleasure of having these beautiful men on stage and asking them what got them into doTERRA. And it was exactly that, using, having their natural aha moment and being invited to a corporate event, because that really provides a lot of trust and edification for us as men, to see other men in the room and to see the executives and doTERRA staff. And it allows us to believe that this is more than just voodoo magic essential oils. Yeah, we feel a bit more confident. So when it comes to men and the doTERRA business, when you look at the leadership magazines, the facts are that you have a look at the winning combination with all the rankers of diamond and above, it seems to be couples. Now, I know there's a lot of very successful and powerful single men and women, and also gay couples as well. So I'm not saying this has to be a man and a woman, but couples, they have such a strength in doing the business together because they have complementary strengths. And when I say complementary, they're usually different. So like Santoshi was sharing in our panel before, there's going to be conflict, there's going to be adversity, there's going to be invitations to growth. And you get the choice of whether you tap out or you grow yourself and you move through these challenges, work with each other and evolve. And that's one of the really, really cool things. And the relationship between my wife and I is so freaking rock solid because we've been through all of these challenges and we've grown together. Like we've made this. It's so, so cool. Another fact, very simple one. Men just think differently to women. We're just black and white. I've just started my 6th leg, and it's with a mate of mine, a good mate from high school. And it's just very different to working with women. I love working with women, and it's really refreshing to start working with men as well. And I'm really excited about that. So where can the men fit into the business? Just being there. You don't necessarily have to be in the trenches doing the classes like I chose to do when I first was introduced to essential oils. Straight away, I just thought, this is so much better than being stuck under a set of fluoro lights, tapping away on a keyboard, playing with essential oils and helping people in health. Sign me up. So other things, look, what have I written there? Look, things traditional. Good English, Byron. Clearly I was fathering when I did this. Okay. Traditionally performed by partner. So look for things that are traditionally performed in a family home by the woman. Okay, I'm not being sexist here, but there is a lot of that stereotype. It's like, okay, you're the woman and you do the cooking and the cleaning, and I go and do the breadwinning and the work. That's, it's 21st century. It's a responsibility for both partners, the man and the woman, to be there to do the cooking and the cleaning and looking after the kids. And perhaps your partner is really getting things scaled up in their doTERRA business, and you can be there just to support them do those things that they do. Supporting other men and partners in the business as well. The community that I've seen amongst the men in doTERRA, because we are the minority, we're really tight knit. Like, we have this BroTara bond, we're hugging each other, and it's really quite beautiful, actually. And then, of course, why not go all in? Get certified in Aroma Touch. Go and teach your first class. Go and do as much as you can to help support your partner and working together in the business. Why not? Why not? Create a following. Now, because I'm working, I have this intention to work and bring more bros into doTERRA. We have a group called BroTara, and for all the guys, I know there's not many on this chat group, but for the girls who have a partner and want to bring their partner and get more involved, invite them along to this group. And we are just sharing various tips in health and in business in this group. And we'll do a number of other events outside of that online space as well, just bringing more men together and rising up, being man enough to talk about emotions, being man enough to be able to say, hey, bro, I need help. Like, I'm not good. And be able to work through things together as men. I want to thank you all for your time, and I'm going to hand it back to Adish and Santoshi. Thank you so much, guys.